Good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, June 7th, 2025, and today we're actually going to be doing something a little different than Magic. We're going to be playing Planet Coaster. This is a game I probably have the most hours in other other than Magic. Excuse me. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but haven't really tested it in terms of the frame rate, and I just tested it right before I started hitting record right now, and it turned out pretty good. It looks like I'm getting about 30 something. Oh no, well right now it says 60, but when I was playing earlier, I was getting around 30 frames per second. So yeah, we're gonna be playing in challenge mode. There's a bunch of different modes like career, sandbox, challenge, obviously tutorials, but I'm gonna do challenge. The default one is tropical, so I guess we'll just do that. You can do tropical, desert, grassland. Nothing really changes in terms of the financials for these. What changes is the financials is the difficulty level. So I'm gonna change the park name to YouTube Park. Because I have a couple other parks that I have named, so this way I don't get it confused with my other ones. I'm only gonna be playing this park on video with you guys. I'm not gonna be playing it by myself. Full transparency. And there's 4 difficulty levels: easy, medium, hard, and harder. So the only difference is your starting cash goes down. Easy is way too easy. Medium, I think, honestly, is way too easy also. I might have too many hours in this game. But harder is definitely harder. It is a very hard difficulty. Yeah, people are very picky. They're like, oh man, that ride, just a little bit too intense. I'm going home. It's like, alright. Oh yeah, it just increases your breakdown rate and everything, and you get less starting cash. So we're gonna do on hard, because I consider that the quote-unquote normal difficulty for me, whenever I do a park. Harder just gets to the point where I'm just, setting things up, making sure I'm in the black, sitting back on my phone for, 20 minutes and accumulating some cash, until I can make my next investment in the park. But we're not going to be doing that today because that's boring. Nobody wants to see me do that. Even though I don't have a face cam, you would just hear dead air with the game running, so nobody wants to do that. So we're going to be playing on hard. We're going to hit start new. And yes, I do have my coffee here this morning and orange juice, part of this complete breakfast. I was going to make a Magic video, but I'm like, I don't have any decks that I'm really, jonesing to play and show you guys. Alright, so you start out with $2,000. Now what I do is I hit pause, because you can pause the game, so nobody's coming in your park. Here we go. So you start out with just this little entrance portal over here where guests spawn in through this weird rape tunnel over here. So they walk out. You can't control anything here. You can only control things inside this dotted line here. I'm not sure if that comes through. Maybe over here you can see it better. Yeah. That little dotted line. You can't build outside that. But it's a massive, size of here. We're not even going to be building anything close to this because the frame rate's just going to be too screwy. So I'm just going to go and start the series and see every week or every other week. I might do this every other week, once a month. We'll see. And see how the frame rate is. Now, you also have challenges. So, make a fireworks display that holds 100 guests' attention for 30 seconds. I personally don't bother with fireworks because of the particle effects aspect of it. It just tanks your frame rate. So I'm just going to delete that challenge. We'll get a new one eventually. And I do like to change one setting in the game every time I boot up. So we go to game. I don't like playing with staff management features where they have to take breaks and everything. I don't know. I don't like having to manage that. I feel it's too much. That's one thing I do like about this game in general, is that you can control a whole bunch of things variables. You could even change the friction settings of your coasters. You could allow more interchangeable coaster cars, so you could use wooden coaster cars on a steel coaster. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff you could change. That stuff at the bottom is from a DLC, which is just not very entertaining. Yeah, we're just gonna lay down standard, path here. Max length, max width, And you could turn on and off angle snap, so I could go like that, just freely. Or if you want to make things like angle snap. I usually leave angle snap on. So yeah, that's the first thing I do when I build a new park, because obviously you have to do the path. And you can have a ride, let's say, I'm going to do that first. So you start out with a whole bunch of prefab, just regular rides. Like just carnival rides, for instance. Like this one's called the Centrum. Yeah, it's just a little like tilt-a-whirl kind of thing. Not very exciting, not very expensive, just regular carnival rides. You get that, you get a carousel, like a double shot kind of thing. What else is there? Oh, what's that called? The whip. At Playland. They have one of those in here. I like building that. Yeah, a couple other things. Nothing too crazy. The one or two I usually start out building is the Grand Carousel and either the Centrum, which we already showed, or the Power Moves. Now, the Power Moves is a ride that, first of all, I can't afford. It's in red. But a lot of these rides essentially just sit down, they spin you a little bit, and then you get off. This ride, you sit down, they spin you a little bit, they raise you up, and then you get off. If you haven't noticed, there's a trend here. So, the reason I like the Power Moves is because it has a custom-made blueprint at the beginning, where it has the Power Moves, but it also has that cool little backdrop with lights. And guests, for the most part, like when they see things on the ride. Like, they'll pay more money to go on a ride that has better scenery. So we're going to place this, but we need to take out a loan first. So you go into Finances here, Loans, Add New Loan. We can take out a $10,000 loan or a $5,000 loan. Keep in mind, we started with $2,000. We used about 100 of it from that path we placed. But I'm going to take out the $10,000 loan with 20% interest. So I can just pay it off immediately. But we're not going to do that. So, I'm going to place Power Moves first. I'm going to put it right about, I don't know, here sounds good. So you have to complete the checklist to open your ride. You have to place the entrance. I'm going to put it right about like here. Place the exit. Put it right about, I don't know. There sounds good? No. Can I fit it like right there? No. Oh, did I not leave myself enough room? Shoot. I didn't. Hang on. Control Z. Or escape. Control Z. There we go. I have to give myself a little bit more room. Rides. Power Moves. Like that. Yeah. Now, entrance. Just here. Exit. There. No OCD. Close enough. Okay. Connect entrance to path. Now, that's not the exit ramp. That's the entrance. So, you could either start by working your way this way, or you could pick a point on the path and then work to that. So, I'm going to place it right about here because it auto-locks there. And I'm going to go a couple there. Boom, boom, boom. Just a couple, like, small intestine-looking things. And just loop it back around on itself. And yeah, just like that. Easy peasy. So another thing you can customize is the load rules. So you could change it to like any load. So it's like as soon as somebody gets on the ride, it goes by the waiting time. Like this ride will start after this time if the minimum rider load has been achieved. But I like turning that off because I only like running my rides when they're full. It helps with capacity. And I change on max. It defaults to 110, but I just usually bump it up to 120 seconds. So that way every 120 seconds, no matter what, this ride is going to run. Empty, full, half full, whatever. Maintenance. The default is 30 minutes. You can change it all the way to 120 minutes, or you can just never inspect the ride at all. But I like to change it to every 10 minutes because a ride that's not running is a ride that's not making money. And speaking of money, okay, it says $10. Now, to calculate the price of the ride cost that you want to do is, it's been known throughout the community of Planet Coaster that if you divide your prestige ranking, which is right now 420, divide that by 36, and that will get you your number, roughly. So, testing, no, where is it? Price. So that's about like $10. That's about right. We just guesstimate here. Maintenance, we already changed that, so we're just going to hit open. Right now the game is still paused, so we don't have to worry about that. But I don't know if you noticed, but if you go into, where is it, overview, scenery rating, 2% for queue scenery rating. That's not good, it's in the red. This factor contributes to the ride's prestige. The prettier your queues look, the more they are valued by guests. So you want to make your line look pretty. Like you don't want to just stand in a little like cattle pen here, serpentine looking thing, dying in the fucking tropical heat. We're going to give you something nice to look at while you bake. So, scenery, down here, pardon the frames here. We're going to go into blueprint. What I usually like to do for all my park starts is this, like, archway looking thing that you walk through. Almost like a portal. I don't know, I like placing it right about there. Right as the path widens there. So when you walk in, you just see this little cool coaster statue. And then, that brought it up to what? 19. Not great. But, got an ace up my sleeve. People in this game love flowers. They love flowers, they love, just nature in general. So I'm going to place one of these flower beds here, and then we're going to hit Control X to duplicate it. And we're just going to drag the second one over yonder. Now that probably bumped it up to maybe 100. 79. You know what we could do? We're going to change this path setting here. Whoa. Queues, not paths. That's one critique a lot of people have about this game. Is that people say the path management system is awful. And they're 100% right. It's awful. I've just been playing the game enough where it's like, I'm making it look easy, and I don't mean to brag, but like, it's not very user intuitive. 88%. I wish it were better, but I'm going to call that acceptable. And this ride is called Power Moves 4. I don't know why they always give it a number. We're just going to call it Power Moves. And I already hit open. Now, the one last thing I want to do before we open the park. Actually, there's a couple of things. I know, this is like a, not 20 minutes, but almost 15-minute video, and we haven't even opened the park yet. So we're going to go into Path Extras. People need benches to sit down. Otherwise, they get really low energy, and they just leave. And even though we don't have any shops right now, we're going to future-proof it by putting a couple of garbage bins around so they could throw out their shit. And not just throw it on the ground, because they will. They will. I'm just going to put a couple more benches there. And I think we're looking pretty good so far. Now, we still have $8,000 to play with. I think I'm going to put down one more ride before we open the park. And I think I am going to put down the carousel. Because you do want something for little kids to do also. Because there is different demographics in the game. There's adults, there's teens, and there is, I think it's called families, they call it. And we're just going to copy and paste here. The same serpentine queue setup. I mean, it looks kind of ugly, but it's utilitarian, and it works. So, oops, what did I press? Okay. Let us go into rides. Grand Carousel. Let's not make the same mistake as the first time. Okay, that's good enough. Place entrance. Good enough. Full load. 120. This is all just general setup stuff. You guys can do this however you want. This is just how I like to do it. Yeah, full load. $5. Place exit. Oh. Good enough. $240. Not great. This ride, I mean, it's a carousel. What do you expect? It's not like King Dakar. Rest in peace, by the way. I don't know why I took out a $10,000 loan. I did not need it. Let's put bin. Bin. Bench. No? Yeah, this game bugs out a lot in terms of placing benches. And that should be good for now. Let's put some lights down. Just so when it gets dark we can actually see what we're doing. I could change the default brightness in terms of like daylight time. Like what time the park opens, what time the park closes, and then the hours, or the lighting kind of goes off that. Also, lighting increases your Q rating. I think it's just counted as like scenery kind of thing. Come on. Right about there. Same thing over here. Just throw some rudimentary lights down. Doesn't have to be too pretty. It's just lights. There. 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 We'll plug it over here. And one right over here by the entrance. And just for good measure, boop, boop, boop. Okay, look at that. Almost a fully functioning park. Oops. Sure. Now, park management. We need to hire staff. We need to hire a mechanic to actually, you know, maintenance these rides. So, when you hire him, he kind of drops from the sky. I'm going to unpause the game and repause it. There we go. His name is Johnny Marin. Good old Johnny Marin. You can change his... what he does, his tasks, where he goes. You can make like work rosters and everything. This is too complicated. I don't even bother. I just hire however many I need and just have them roam around the park. Mechanic status, just hanging around. Workload normal. And you can give them training and whatnot. Which you do through the park management tab. You can go to all staff. Yeah, Johnny Marin. Now their happiness is determined by their pay. Right now, this guy is, you know, he just got hired. So we're just going to bump him up to like 300 just because that's a nice round number. And I know I've said this like 5 times, but there is one last thing I want to do. I want to extend this path just one more. And then I want to build a bathroom. No, not in coasters. Shops and facilities. Here we go. So blueprint. You can go into bathrooms. I like to build this little, it's called the Ghostbusters bathroom. It comes from the Ghostbusters DLC I purchased. I'm just going to put it right over here. Maybe a little recessed. Like there? Yeah, sure. There, line it up at the front of the ride, kind of. Yeah, that looks fine. Yeah. And, because we have a bathroom, that means we need a janitor. What's your name? What is your name? What is your name? Can I not click on you? Hang on. Sean Hale. It's the guy, Sean Hale. Okay. We are going to open up the carousel. This ride's already open. And we're going to put it to speed 3. Because you can change the speed of how fast the game goes, just in terms of the simulation aspect. So you see, nobody's on the ride right now. But in a couple of minutes, in-game time I should say, people are going to start riding this. Or this should just spin automatically. Yeah, see, people are coming. We got them. Now, one interesting thing about the game's economics is that you're incentivized to have a free entry into the park, but then charge people out the wazoo for the rides. You're not supposed to do like the Disney method. Well, actually, the Disney method, because you charge them at the gate and charge them for the freaking rides. I'm gonna divest, or what is it, divest? No. Regress. No. What's the word? I'm playing too much Planet Coaster. Holy crap, people are flooding to this ride. Why? I mean, it's a good ride, though. I mean, 100% Q. Ooh, 588. Look at that. You know what? That's a $15 ride. It also tells you, like, the potential monthly profit. It calculates everything. This game gets very detailed in terms of the minutia of, like, park rating and the graphs that eventually get to be available. Research we have to do. You know what? I'm gonna change the finances. We can pay anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month, but keep in mind we have 20% interest. So while the money's rolling in, I'm gonna just, you know, bump that up to 2,000. Eventually, once we get to roughly maybe 8,000, I can see us meeting in the middle. Just paying that off. See, why are people going to the bathroom and changing their mind? I think this is a pretty successful start so far. I like what we have. Oh god, the frames. How long's the wait? 10 minutes, that's not bad at all. Yeah, if you don't build benches, by the way, see how they immediately, like, you know, sit on the bench after the ride? That's because they've just been waiting in line. So they're like, oh, I gotta sit down for a minute. Yeah, if you don't do that, they'll just get too tired and just leave your park entirely. People are riding with, I was going to call this the Ferris wheel. That is 100% not the Ferris wheel. It's hard to drink my coffee when I play this game because my right hand is constantly on my mouse. My left hand is on the WASD. I like little details. They put little like graffiti of like the names of people who worked on the project, I guess. Yeah, I always like to consider this like, oh, my office would be up here, right above the bathroom. So I don't know. I like this game. I have over 500 hours in it. It came out in 2017, something like that. There is a Planet Coaster 2, and I haven't really played it because it came out kind of unfinished, as a lot of games tend to do nowadays. And it just got frustrating. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a few months, let them work out kinks, add stuff that they should have had for the base game. And then I'll start playing that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be making a video with Planet Coaster 2. I think I'm just going to stick with this, mainly because of the frame rate thing. I think these graphics look okay for what they are. I mean, I'm just, again, this might just be chalked up to I'm used to it. But I think we got a successful looking park here. I am going to change... I think it's in ticket prices? Yeah, for whatever reason, the opening and closing time of your park is in ticket prices. I'm gonna have it set 10. Leaving guest spots, 100% of people, there's not enough to do here. I'm going home. Well, I'm personally offended. What is all this? This isn't enough? The fuck do you want? I have autosave on. Like every, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. That's why the frame rate kind of drops every 5 minutes just for a couple seconds. It says like they're saving for a second. So yeah, there's like overview, you could say adult, group, guests, teens. Yeah, it tells you like all this information. And you can look at guest thoughts too. The queue for Grand Carousel was quite quick. Half the people said that. Alright, we're in the red. Well, in terms of making money. That's because we're paying $2,000 for a loan. How's that going, by the way? Can we pay it off yet? Ooh, almost. We're within $800. Because it's better, obviously, to not pay the interest and just pay the cash up front. See, I'm sorry about, like, this is the part of the game when you first start out, before you're making, you know, hand over fist dollars. You're kind of just, like, letting the park do its thing. I could be building more rides, but I'm just gonna let this loan go through, and then just let the park float. In terms of, we're going to be in the black. We're not going to have any 20% interest loans to pay off or anything. Even our money is going down. So, you know, the financial part of my brain says we should dump this down at this point to 1,000, which is the minimum payment. So that way we save the money on the front end, paying the bank the interest, and we're relatively close to paying it off outright. So instead of giving the money to the bank, where both columns are going down, let's accumulate a little of our own. That number's not going to go up anymore. It's only going to go down, albeit slowly. Slowlier. I don't think that's a word. Slower. Yeah, you could only have 2 loans at a time. There is only 2 loans, and I think for the different difficulties, that's something that changes. Like, for the easy one, you get like a $20,000 loan. Research is something I haven't really gotten into yet, and I don't think I'm going to be doing that this video. I might save that for next video, because we're almost at a half hour here. Once we pay off this loan, yeah, I think we're going to save, and I think we're going to call this a great episode 1. I taught you something about finance, we built a carousel, yeah, we made a lot of people happy. How many people are in the park? 327, and I will take that. What's the guest satisfaction? Where are we at? How do I see that? Overview? 6%, this park was amazing. I don't want to leave. I will take that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week, I think it is going to be a Magic video, because there is a new set coming out this week for Final Fantasy. I know a lot of you guys are interested. Probably one of the most anticipated Magic sets I can remember in a long time, and it's a Universe Beyond one, which I'm surprised about this much hype. For Final Fantasy, I mean, personally, not my cup of tea, but a lot of you guys like it, so. Alright, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.